The new Games Workshop FAQ is now in effect. And what does that mean for our new tournament meta? Well, today I have the great pleasure of inviting to the show the tournament organizer of the very first UK tournament to use the new FAQ, and that is Richard Manklow at the Edinburgh GT, which will be happening this weekend in, you guessed it, Edinburgh, which I will be attending. I did do a show about it previously. I'll link it up here if you want to see what sort of list I'll be taking and what I'd be expecting from this. But without further ado, welcome to the show, Richard Manklow. Welcome to the show, Rich. Hi, how you doing? You all right?
Hi, Pash. Yeah, happy to be here. I've survived the heat wave that we've had a little bit further south of the Scottish border, and I'm very much looking forward to some Old Worlds in the next week now we've had the FAQ.
It's going to be very exciting. This is the first UK event that we know of that is using the new FAQ 1.5.3 that's just been released literally a week ago, days before list submission. So I'm glad that managed to sort of jump into there. It's going to be some exciting. This is the lists that have been submitted for this event. But what is the event? It is the Edinburgh GT. And Rich, you are our very glorified tournament organizer. How did this event come about? Tell me more about it.
Sure. Yeah. So it's a UK tournament circuit event. They're most well known for running massive 40k tournaments with hundreds of players. Old World, we've got the opportunity to hop on the back of that. So 40k pays for the space. We get some of the extra space. We get to tour around the UK, and basically I run tournaments at several different UKTC events across the year, to kind of enable the local communities to come to a tournament that's local to them, helps build those communities locally, gives people like a focal point in a year if they don't otherwise have one in that town or city. And this is the first one that I'll be doing in Edinburgh, a very special place in my heart. So I'm really excited to be hosting an event there. And yeah, I'm really excited to see what the weekend brings. I've already seen the lists as to you.
It's exciting. I can't wait.
Yeah, I can't wait to reveal them to you later on.
Oh, fantastic. Well, we're very excited that you have decided to come over and host tournaments here because it saves us having to do them ourselves, very much so. But I mean, genuinely, it is very much appreciated. I think there's been a lot of buzz locally in our sort of WhatsApp groups and stuff about this event specifically. Lots of people, that wanted to make it that can't due to other commitments, or just, it's going to be a really good event. And I'm hoping we can make an annual thing that we can get you guys to come back. Because if I'm not wrong, this is the first UKTC event in Scotland. Is that right?
It is. Yeah. They are expanding more events, more places. A very exciting year for 2026, not just for the Old World, but especially for the Old World, I think.
That's good to see. I mean, I first came across the UKTC. I mean, in fact, you can actually probably just in the background there see my certificate, blurry background. I first came across, when we met at the London GT in September last year. That was, just the biggest sort of amount of gamers that I ever seen in one space. I mean, there was thousands of 40k players and, AOS players and Old World players. There was just lots and lots of people playing Toy Soldiers on the same day, and it was very, very exciting. So it's good to have you guys come over here and expand, bring that experience to here. I mean, obviously the scale is not quite the same this year, but maybe in the future it would be really nice to see. And I think, if this is a success, it'd be great to see you guys back again. I think that would be quite exciting. So
yeah, for sure.
Enough about this. Let's talk about the lists. People care about the lists. I have not seen the lists. You have just completed them. And we have, how many players have we got registered for this event?
We have 25, and that includes me as the spare, just in case someone drops or can't make it on the day. But that is a very good number. I mean, going back to the idea of it being the first one in Edinburgh, obviously Scotland has a very well-established Old World community, but just in terms of kind of like having GTs and events available, for it to be kind of the first one that UKTC has up there, that is a good number. And kind of we are seeing growth as time goes on in the ones that we repeat. So we had loads of players at LGT last year, more than the year before, and so on and so forth. So I think it's a very strong start point, and hopefully many years ahead of us in this event.
Definitely. I think, it's a busy time. Edinburgh is always a funny place because it's such a tourist capital. There's so much sort of tourist traffic. It can make it a little bit expensive for people to come over certain times of the year. And I sort of feel like we're entering that time now, and it's a little bit tricky,
soon, isn't it? So
as ever, there's other events going on. There's team events going on. So some of the Team Scotland guys, couldn't make it because I think it's literally a week apart. There's all sorts of things, all sorts of factors that people have. But never mind. There are 25 people signed up, including yourself. So hopefully we won't need to use you as a spare. But you never know. Some of our regulars do have priors for not being able to make day 2. So you might find yourself being roped in. Yeah, well, enough about them, definitely. But we won't go into the specifics of the comp pack. I covered that on the previous show. I'll link that here. You can have a look and see of all the specific details of each and every single mission, all the various different comp bits and pieces, and the slightly different tweaks that you have made with regards to the new FAQ understandings. Would that be fair to say? Because I think, as ever, Games Workshop gives with one hand and with another, it makes you more confused. So is it clarity? Is it not? You've had to do a little bit more work since the FAQ was published at very, very short notice, basically.
Yeah, definitely. It's the life of a TO. It's the excitement. It's not as exciting as seeing players enjoying themselves at the actual game, at the actual tables. But yeah, it's an exciting part of being a TO, coming up with those rules on the fly. Feels a lot of pressure. Yeah. So I'm not going to take kind of any credit for getting it right or whatever like that. But I'm giving you something, and I hope it's a bunch of fun when it ends up being played out on the table.
It's difficult to be the pioneer. The first out the door, you don't really have anything else to go on. You have to make it up as you go along. So people have to appreciate that, and I think they will. Everybody who's seen the pack the way that it is now has basically said that this is the most sensible way to do it. Let's give it a try. We're all sort of learning these new rules interaction. So undoubtedly there'll be things that will come up on the day that will require a bit of a discussion. But your experienced TO, you've been a TO at LGT, you've been a TO at lots of other UKTC events. You came along to Six Nations, which was, massive help. So like, as far as TOs go, you're probably one of the biggest veterans that we've got. So we're very fortunate to have you here. I have no doubt you'll be just and fair, even in my games, because I am playing. So we'll see how that comes along. But yeah, no, that's fair. Okay. So just as a summary, it's 2,000 points, 5 games. There are scenarios in there. There's a couple of little tweaks that you've made, which I quite like. And maybe we'll mention that across there. But let's have a little look and see at the faction breakdown as we have it here. Okay, so 25 people. The most popular one is Warriors of Chaos. Interesting. Okay, are these ranked in order of popularity?
They are, going kind of across. So Warriors of Chaos, High Elves, Wood Elves, Orcs and Goblin tribes. Yeah.
Dwarves, Grand Cathay, which actually I'm surprised about because our chat that you've created in the last few weeks has been going crazy about, bitching about Cathay, but it doesn't look like there's quite as many of them as possible. Tomb Kings, Skaven, impressive. Ogres, Kingdom of Britonnia, Empire, and Beastmen. Interesting. So a couple of things to call out there. We have a couple of legacy armies, including Skaven, which you rarely see in Ogres as well. And you've done a little bonus for legacy armies, is that right? Using, essentially, you get an amount of rerolls per game?
Yeah, that's right. Something that's very simple. I really like to keep my comp light touch so you don't have to read any more than like a single page. And it is basically just like a table of where, in terms of legacy armies, are the specific legacy army in terms of power level, and then Lizardmen and Skaven get 1 reroll per game round.
Okay.
And Vampire Counts get none, for example.
Yeah. No, I mean it's interesting. I've seen. I mean, that's something that's been talked about before. I've not been to an event that's using that sort of comp before, but I think that would be interesting to see because actually rerolls are massively powerful, especially when you get to choose what you use them on. So yeah, I think that's going to come into play more often than people think, provided those players remember that they actually have them.
I think that's the key thing, yeah, because if you're like a Lizardman or in anything, it's that extra ward save reroll, or it's being able to make that charge if your stupidity roll doesn't work or whatever, things like that. Yeah,
that's fair. I am surprised here that there's quite so many warriors. I mean, there's been a lot of. I think warriors are one of the armies that got the most excited about the new FAQ, maybe alongside the Wood Elves as well. So I'm not so surprised about the Wood Elves being so popular, but warriors, 8 of them. That's huge. I'm hoping we'll see quite a variety of lists in there. Maybe some Monster Mash, maybe some of the old style Triple Dragon lists. Maybe we'll see something different. Maybe some new Demon Princes. I am quite interested to see what happens there.
Yeah, there is some spice. Not to give anything away. There's a little bit of spice. There's a little bit mixed, but it seems like in a way, people are thinking along similar lines, but maybe not the
Okay.
exact same lines. So I won't give too much away now, but it is interesting. And I think also, on top of the FAQ itself, a lot of people have been really excited about the new starter box, which is obviously all about those
massive.
new Warriors of Chaos sculpts.
Yeah, the amount of people who are selling the Cathay half of that starter box at the moment is crazy. I've seen anybody selling it from like 35 quid to like 120 quid for just that Cathay half.
Yeah,
which is crazy. But nobody's selling the Warriors half, interestingly enough. So it's definitely going to be a popular choice. Okay, interesting. A few more stats that you've got here. We have 227 core infantry. Okay, chunky. Yeah. I mean, I'm not surprised, to be honest. One of the callouts that I had when I looked at your pack was there's a lot of requirements for objectives and domination and special features and stuff. So I'm not surprised that there's quite a bit of there. 8 armies of infamy. That's quite cool. Then we have 4 named characters. Just 4. Is this 4 different types, or is it literally
just
4 individual?
4 in total, because I do count them if there's multiples of the same.
So no duplicates. They're all solo. Okay.
I mean, well, I am not infallible, so maybe we'll find one as we go through in more detail. But yeah.
Let's see if anybody else can spot them as well. Burlock, Elise the Shard, Necaf, and Odrug's Swamp Digger. Okay, so the first thing that I've noticed here is one of our locals was essentially bullied into taking Orion. Now, Orion is not on this list, so that tells me that he's chickened out and he's picked something else. So
now you say it, I feel like I might have read it earlier. So
no,
there we go.
We'll have a look. If I will call him out if he's wrong. So that's
or you
totally
can call
fine.
me out if I'm wrong.
That's all right. Behemoths are still quite impressive given the new canon rules, which should be clarified. As in my understanding, the way that we're playing cannons this weekend is that they cannot go over buildings or hills or terrain, but they can essentially, they stop when, if you aim in front of a behemoth or a monstrous creature. Is that about right? Or I guess unless you misfire.
Yeah, so you can still go through monsters and behemoths on the first roll, but you cannot go through any terrain. Well, the impassable hill, etc. on the first roll.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think that's probably the most difficult one to make a call on at the moment.
It is.
So we'll see how it ends up.
Exactly. It would be great if GW maybe took heed of all the feedback that's been happening and maybe release some sort of emergency hotfix type of FAQ, just clarifying those few points about cannons, about regen, about a few other bits and pieces. But we're not expecting anything like that. If it happens, it will be a gift. And if it does, fantastic. But for the time being, that's how we're playing it. And this is the new meta. So let's see what else we have. 85 levels of wizardry. Okay. So 85 levels of wizardry divided by 25, that's 3.4 levels of wizardry per person. Now, given that there's some dwarves there, that's still a high level of magic. I'm quite impressed, actually, at how much magic there is still there. I was told magic was dead after, last year's 1.5 FAQ.
Yeah, there is a lot.
Still something there. Slayers, sadly, 0. 16 war machines, yeah, makes sense. But there's more monsters than war machines, so it's going to be a bit of a monster mash list. I'm wondering if all of those 28 behemoths are heavily in the warriors list, but we'll see. And characters. Okay, so interesting. Not everybody has maxed out on the old character points. 44.8 is the average there. I mean, close to 50, I guess, but not quite all the way. And some people have taken more core than the bare minimum. So this isn't a completely try-hard min-maxing sort of event. It does look like, people are starting to make actual armies, special and rare, and mercenary 0. So no Jade Warriors then. Jade Fleet armies then, I guess. But if there's only 2 Cathay and one of them's mine, I guess
it gives it away a bit.
Right,
I can actually talk a little bit about how this has changed from maybe the next most comparable tournament that I've TO'd.
Oh yeah,
I noticed it because I've wrongly labeled this page because I have a template that I use. It's Edinburgh GT, not Windsor GT, but the Windsor GT is very comparable. It had 26 players at it instead of 25, okay. But we were looking at like almost double the number of war machines and almost half the number of behemoths.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
A few more levels of wizardry this time as well, actually.
Okay.
But we did have a lot more dwarf players at that event.
That's interesting. So it just depends, I guess, on what the local flavor is, isn't it? yeah, I guess we just like our monsters and magic up here, which is fine. That's the way I like it too. So, right. Well, without further ado, let's have a little look and see at the army list. Who have we got? Who have we got coming up first? We're starting alphabetically, so we have Beastmen Brayherds. Callum Hay, he's bringing Wild Herd. He's got Beast Lord, Shield on foot, the Black Maul, nasty weapon, full plate, Chaos Armor, Slug Skin for the -1 to hit, Gnarled Hide. So he's a really tough nut to crack, and he's just got a crazy amount of attacks. Oof, yeah, that's going to be nasty. Great Bray Shaman, Bray Staff, level 4 on foot, Lore Familiar, Ruby Ring, and Elementalism. Okay. So with Lore Familiar, I guess there's no Vile Tide on this guy. He still has obviously all the elementalism spells, so that's great. He's got War Gore with a great weapon, heavy armor, BSB with a Totem of Wrath for the no stomps. On foot, Pelt of the Dark Young, Charm Shield. Yeah, sounds fairly standard there. Another Bray Shaman. This one is a level 1, Chalice of Dark Rain for the switching off War Machines, Jagged Dagger for casting bonuses, and Demonology. Yeah, fair enough. Level 1 Demonology, maybe on Vile Tide, maybe some nice Demonology spell.
I think Vile Tide was hit a bit, wasn't it? But
yeah,
I think that the summoning, I saw a meme of like, goodbye Vile Tide, hello the summoning, and I see 2 Demonology level 1s on there.
Well, 3 really.
3 actually, yeah, there we go. And I also think that elementalism lore familiar, I wonder if that's trying to make sure that TMP is definitely taken, so that big block, which can be a bit vulnerable otherwise, can
always maneuverable. Yeah. And speaking of the big block, 51 Gore Herd. Now, hopefully he's not fallen foul of more than half the models in the
No, I did count this.
No, you're right. 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49. Oh, he's got the Primal War Herd.
10,
yeah, okay.
10 goals or something.
Fine, Callum. You're not cheating just yet. Okay, so he's got the Gore Herd with full command, Scourge of the Burdened for the bound reserve move, Monster Hunter's Tapestry. Sorry, that's the No Stomp banner. Another Primal War Herd, which I'm pretty sure are mandatory, Shielded Ambushing, 10 Ungors ambushing, 10 Ungors ambushing, 10 Ungors ambushing. So plenty of cheeky little units to capture objectives and come in and be annoying in the back ranks. And 3 single Razorgores, which are always value for money. And last but not least, we have 13 Ungor Herd with shield and a Herdstone. No Wild Herd is complete without their portable Herdstone. IKEA must be pumping them out. Okay, I think that's fairly.
Does that change much? Do you see much change in that list? I mean, we picked up on the Demonology, maybe.
Yeah. I guess we have. I mean, the main thing is we haven't seen the one item that's been in every single Beastman list since forever is the Hag Tree Fetish. It's gone. It's not there anymore. I guess it's not good enough anymore with the reroll 1s instead of reroll all to wound, fail to wound. Maybe it's just not worth the slot anymore. So it's interesting not seeing that. But other than that, the rest of the list is fairly similar to what we've seen before. Nothing too crazy. Yeah, I think that's fairly similar. It'll be interesting to see how it does. Callum doing the heavy lifting on bringing plenty of level magic levels in his army, 7. Yeah, he's doing all right. But no behemoths or cannons, so I guess he doesn't contribute to that statistic at least. Oh, fair enough. Right. Do we have any other Beastman lists? No, we do not. We're going straight into Cathay now. People who have seen my last video will have seen that I, made a Cathay list, and I got some people that were very upset that a video that was entitled "How to Make the Best List" had what is perceived to be the best army. I don't understand what else they were expecting, but hey ho. But those that did watch that video will notice that this list isn't exactly the same one as I went over in the video. And it was mainly because I went back and I tweaked something just for fun because I thought it would be a little bit more interesting. Nothing dramatic, but slightly different. So we start off with 3 Ishigangan generals, all with heavy armor and celestial blade, fairly standard. 2 on battle magic, 1 on high magic for the drain magic, sort of signature spell. We have the Shug Lord. This one is the general who has level 3 with an extra spell on illusion and the Monkey King's Wisdom. Nothing too exciting on there. The bit that's slightly different is Supreme Astromancer. I picked one of them, level 3 on elementalism with a Scroll of Disruption and a Ruby Ring of Ruin. So Scroll of Disruption is the reroll to dispel. And essentially, the main difference there is I've taken the Maw Shard out, which is one of the items that I've basically had in every single Cathay list since forever. And instead, I've gone for a guy who can sort of dispel, hopefully slightly more reliably, and still has a little magic missile. And maybe elementalism will throw something in there. So that's the sort of something different. We'll see if that flies. The rest of the list is fairly standard. 16 Jade Warriors, full command with a no-fly banner, 3 units of 16 peasants with skirmishings and a champion with the bows, 1 unit of 20 peasants with spears and ambushing, full command, 2 cannons with ogres, and 1 lantern with the crane guns. So again, this list hasn't changed almost at all since, pre-FAQ, so nothing too special there. We do have another Cathay list, I believe, so let's have a look and see if he's any different. And that is Chris Mills with Grand Cathay, one of the Team Scotland lot. He has got the Shug Lord with heavy armor, level 3. Laura Vian, slightly different there, but otherwise Monkey King. He has the Vermilion Quills instead for the reroll to hit to wound, which is nice. He's got 3 Shugs, baby Shugs, all with heavy armor and the Celestial Blade, all on, 2 on battle, 1 on high. He does have the Maw Shard in it, so this is almost exactly the same as it was before the FAQ. Still a very good item. And the core is very similar. 20 Jade Warriors, full command, no fly banner, 2 units of 15, and 2 units of 12 peasants, all skirmishers, 2 of which are ambushers, and then two cannons with ogres, and then 2 lanterns. So, yes, 2 Cathay lists, pretty much on point, I think, for what we expect from Cathay. I'm not seeing anything unique in either of those, to be honest. If I'm
not really, and the main difference between them is you've gone with an Astromancer in your characters, and Chris has decided to go with a Sky Lantern instead, with obviously a few different items, but ultimately that's the kind of main difference in units.
Exactly. Yeah, nothing really especially crazy outside of that. Otherwise, it's a standard meta Cathay list. One of the main reasons I chose to go for the Astromancer is I didn't have a second painted balloon, so I've managed to get by with 1 this whole entire time. So I thought I would just, rather than beg and borrow that balloon, I thought, you know what, I'll just stick this guy who I have painted and see if he does any better. But yeah, I think this list is pretty solid.
You were talking about wizard levels earlier in terms of the Beastmen Brayheads, and you said that 7 was a good number. Yeah. But one of the reasons I think that number has crept up a bit is because Cathay, especially with the Shug spam, you've just got loads of level 1s or levels just anyway. You're taking them for the longmas and the weapons and everything, but actually they're just little wizards as well. So I think that's like a little extra thing, because there's six levels in this list. And I think you've got even more, actually.
I think that's a very good point. I didn't even realize that, but you're totally right, because I have 1, 2, 3, 6, 9 levels. Yeah, okay, fair enough. So maybe the Cathay.
But it's interesting because you think of Beastmen Brayheads Wildhead as the wizard spam list, and yet you've got the Cathay with more wizard levels, which is really interesting.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. And they also, they're not behemoths, but they do bring 2 cannons with them as well. So it's, they contribute to all metrics despite only being 2 Cathay lists. I think they play all parts of the game fairly well, as is known. Everybody knows this. This is nothing new. Okay, who have we got next? Let's have a look. We are into the Dwarven Mountain Hold. So this is an Expeditionary Force list, and Jeremy Dicker is our man. He is brought Burlick Dammonson as his general, one of our special characters. He's got a Dwarf Engineer with a handgun, another Engineer Sapper with a great weapon and handgun, Runesmith, heavy armor shield, Rune of Passage, Rune of Spell Breaking, pretty standard. A Thane, BSB, Master Ring of Grungy, Rune of Courage, Battle, Handgun, Shield, Master Rune of Piercing, Rune of Rapid Fire, Rune of Accuracy. So just a Gun Thane, as usual. We have another Gun Thane.
There's the 2. There's the Piercing one, which is the Bolt Thrower style, and then the Rapid Fire one, which is that kind of multi-shot or multi-hit one, that kind of extra hits.
Interesting. Two units of 2 Scout Gyrocopters, 19 Thunderers, full command, Expeditionary Marksman, 3 cannons with function over form with a bunch of runes, reloading, stalwart, reloading and stalwart. A unit of 3 gyros with clatter guns, a single gyro with clatter gun, and 2 scout gyros. So 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Only 10 gyrocopters, which maybe for an expeditionary list is feels like you're holding back. Interesting thing I've noticed here: no stupidity runes, which was sort of the flavor beforehand. I don't know if that's just a flavor pick for Jeremy.
I think I really like the Master Rune of Piercing for its output, especially into kind of bigger blocks. That's not so good against monsters or in that strategic level, I think. But what I think also is interesting in here is that this list, in terms of the units within it, have really been impacted in some way by the FAQ because of the way that the gyrocopters work now, and also the cannons. I mean, they're only a small point different less, but perhaps that's the difference between taking 2 cannons before and 3 now, or something along those lines.
It's not a massive saving, as 5 points per cannon or something that they've changed. So you essentially get almost like a free rune, really, isn't it? Yeah. I don't think that'll make a massive difference to the list there, but it'll be interesting to see how it does. So yeah, definitely. Is there any other dwarves that we have? We do. We have another dwarven mountain holds. This one is Ayatar Bleda, which is not a person that I know, so I'll be glad to meet somebody new. That'd be great. What has Ayatar brought? We have a king, full plate shield, general on foot, rune of stone, rune of preservation, rune of fortitude, rune of might. That's a lot of tough to kill type of runes.
It is, yeah.
A Thane with rune of Grungy, 3 runes of stone, and a rune of fire. What does rune of stone do? Let me have a look. I'm not overly familiar with my dwarves. Let's have a look. Armor. Each rune of stone inscribed upon their armor, a model may reroll a failed armor save roll. Wow. So basically, his general has got 1 reroll. His BSB has 3 rerolls. Mad. Okay. We have a runesmith with 2 spell breaking runes, another 2 rerolls on the armor. He's really not going anywhere.
Going for it. Yeah.
And then Longbeards with full command, rune of speed. Surely that doesn't affect how...
Initiative, I believe.
Initiative. Yes, you're totally right. Yeah. Initiative. Rune of battle for the standard bearer, 12 quarrelers, 10 rangers, 24 hammerers.
This is exciting.
Full command, and all rune of courage, rune of battle, single gyro, 1 with steam gun, 1 with brimstone, 2 cannons with rune of reloading, rune of forging, and a rune of forging, and 5 longbeards. What's the 5 longbeards all about? Just with heavy armor. I wonder if he just had points spare from all the cheap cannons that he got. So essentially, we're looking at a 2 very solid block dwarf list with characters that are just not going to die and very little outside of it. Yes, you have a bit of cannons, you have a little bit of shooting and stuff, but yeah, this is going to be hard to shift, I think. Very, very, very hard to shift. It's going to be interesting how that gets on. I've not seen somebody go quite that defensive in a dwarf mountain hold list, so I wonder how well that's going to do in objectives, but he has 3 core units, so I guess we'll see.
Yeah. It's a great flavor pick as well, because you've got the 2 massive strong units to put those big characters in. So if you're channeling your inner dwarf energy of not wanting to go anywhere and then smacking a thing that runs into you, this is what it's about.
That's fair. And that's it. That's the 2 dwarf lists. So 2 slightly different dwarf lists. We have the old traditional expeditionary force, which has got lots of flying about characters and is a bit more, MSU-y type, although it does have the big Thunderer unit and a Thane, which are pricey, but the rest is fairly cheap points. And then we have a dwarf mountain hold where everything is difficult to get points out of. Maybe you can pick up the things on the side, but yeah, in order to do well, you're going to have to commit to either the big hammer unit or the big longbeard unit, and I don't think either sounds appealing. So yeah, I wish him luck. We'll see how it goes. We are now into the land of Empire. Jake Shepard is he has named his characters. I always like somebody who names their characters. I unfortunately ran out of time to name my characters as I usually do, but let's read Jake's list. What has he got? He's got Johnny Franzia. He's a general of the Empire, full plate armor, shield, Pegasus, talisman of protection, a ruby ring of ruin, sword of might. So a little flappy character with a bit of zap. Nice. Charles
Might be
LeBoyle.
an ancestor for Karl Franz as well.
It's entirely possible. Yeah. Johnny Franzia. Is that not the Fonz? Is that not the Fonz's name?
Maybe, yeah. Maybe I've been reading that in the wrong way. Yeah,
thinking about that. Yeah, Franzia. I thought that's a very old reference if that's the case. I mean, the Happy Days has not been on on show for decades. I'd have to Google that, but that might be the reference. Charles LeBoyle, Wizard Lord, level 4 with a Griffin. Wow. Wizard Staff, Twin-Tailed Wand, and the White Cloak Battle Magic. That's a solid little flying character. I quite like it. 2 fine characters so far. Nice. Norm Skullenhoff, Witch Hunter. Great weapon, light armor, the Witch on foot. Michael Hitchencock, another Witch Hunter with the Mutant, Suffer Not the Mutant. And Raymondo Holton, another Wizard Lord, level 3 wizard on foot with battle magic. So interesting selection of characters. We have 2 flying portable characters and 3 on foot. Yeah, offering quite a bit of flexibility, which I like.
I think it's interesting that we've got the general, not necessarily the one that you want to get into combat, flying around on that Pegasus.
No.
And then the Griffin with the twin-tailed wand as well, so you can double cast something like Hammer Hand. That's quite exciting.
That Wizard Lord could be a stealth sort of sneaky MVP of the game, really. Yeah, this is quite interesting. So it's different. It's not something I've seen before. So yeah, I very much like it. What else have we got? We have core units, 28 veteran state troops with full command by the looks of it, and the Monster Hunters Tapestry, 19 state troops, which are full command as well, and 12 missile troops with crossbows. 2 great cannons, 5 Empire Road Wardens with ambushing, nice, and champion, and then we have a steam tank. Okay, so the bottom part of it is nothing too surprising. Double cannon, steam tank, Road Wardens, I guess slightly different. I don't see that particularly often. But a really nice, solid core of, obviously the characters will probably go in there somewhere because they're all on foot. You've got a nice, solid middle core. You've got a couple of flying characters. You've got a steam tank. You've got some shooting. Yeah, this is a nice Empire list. Fairly balanced. I really like it.
Yeah, my cogs are wearing slightly. The steam tank obviously can shoot with both guns now.
Yeah.
But also, I'm thinking about good old Johnny Franzia and Charles LeBoyle. One thing that I have seen actually is that you run a little Pegasus character around with something that's on a Griffin or on something big that you want to get into combat. And Johnny Franzia here may be your challenge bait. And then it leaves the Griffin and maybe that double hammer hand wizard to then kind of kill all the goblins or kill everything else that's left in an infantry brick. So I wonder if that's a tactic that we'll see.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. I mean, with given that they're all flying, it gives them the option to do that, doesn't it? And that's always quite exciting. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how Jake gets on with this. I think that's quite cool. So he seems to be the only Empire list there. So I guess we're grateful we don't see Nuln. No Nuln gun lines anymore, or at least not at this event. Maybe, I mean, Nuln I think have taken quite a hit this event.
Yeah.
After the FAQ, so I think I don't know if Jake would have taken Nuln before, but his list suggests he already had this, locked and loaded before the FAQ anyway. I don't suspect, because I don't see anything here that's really been affected by the FAQ. So yeah, interesting to see how he gets on. Good luck to him. We've got Mark Pete. He's taken Hyles. Now Hyles, an army that is close to my heart, but I'm being very sad about them. So I'm excited to see that they are the second most popular faction. So we'll see what everybody else decided to take. Let's have a wee look. So we still have, if I'm not wrong, a double dragon list. Okay, yes, double dragon. One is a prince with full plate, star dragon, sword of might, charm shield, opal amulet, and the seed of rebirth, and blood of Calidor. Okay, interesting. Cool. Yeah. We have a wizard who is on a moon dragon. This one's a level 3, also has a sword of might, double opal amulet, and lore familiar and blood of Calidor as well. So essentially you've got 2 dragons, 4 up armor save, 6 up ward save. They have a couple of 2 up ward saves against those nasty cannons, and the prince has the regen item, which makes sense. They are both impetuous, which is interesting. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. 2 units of silver helms, pretty much identical. Full command with a ring of fury and a champion. ×2, which I love. The Ring of Fury is a great item. 5 Reavers with light armor, short bows, and skirmishers. 5 Dragon Princes with the Lore Master's Cloak, protection against magic missiles. Standard Bearer, Totem of Wrath, nice, gives them a little bit extra punch. Full command otherwise, and a Frostheart Phoenix with full plate armor. So, oops, all mounted list. Very interesting. I think Mark's been playing around with this sort of list for a little while, so I'm sure it'll not be a massive surprise if you played against Mark. But yeah, it's just lots and lots of very fast moving and surprisingly hard hitting units. The Ring of Fury really helps those Silver Helms punch a little bit more than they normally do. So,
and a low model count, right, as well.
Low, yeah, very low model count, isn't it? Not you don't need to do a lot of damage to start dropping bodies, and it really loses effectiveness. But Dragon Princes with the Totem of Wrath, they could do a bit of damage. You throw enough, if you throw 2 dragons at something, it's gonna feel it, right? So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it gets on. Let's have a look at the other high elf list. Who do we have? Brian Convery, another person I don't think I've met before, Brian. So, looking forward to saying hi to you, especially because you've got high elves. What have you brought? You have also got the double dragon list, but these are, if I'm not wrong, they are both star dragons, yes. So the prince, much the same, armor of Calidor, this one, yep, and he's got a shield, sword of might, regen, not the Calidor honor, pure of heart instead. The archmage is a level 3 star dragon, extra spell, 5-up ward, and on illusion. Okay, so sort of similar to what Mark has got as well. In the core, we have 2 units of 5 Silver Helms with standard. Those Ring of Furies are everywhere. They're getting printed. There's only champions in these units, and the 2 units. Oh, in fact, look at this: 2 units of Reavers, 5 units of 5-man units of Reavers, also with the Ring of Fury. So there's four Rings of Fury so far, and 2 units of 5 Dragon Princes with standard and champion. I'm surprised they don't have Rings of Fury on them. I'll be honest. He does also have 5 sisters with the Bow of Avalorn and a High Sister. Interestingly enough, no items on the High Sister there. Question is the reason why bring them at all. I would have maybe, just for a fun theme, maybe instead of 5 sisters, I would have maybe given the Dragon Princes 2 Rings of Fury, just
more Rings of Fury,
everything, everything. The 6 rings to find them and bind them and all that stuff. So
yes.
Again, another very fast list, and other than the sisters, everything is mounted and quite quick. Low model count, as you say. I mean, those core units are only just able to score. As soon as they start taking hits, it's going to hurt. But I guess he's not really going for maybe the objective capturing game as much. Yeah, it's interesting because, we were told that with the Seed of Rebirth becoming no longer, super common item, that we just wouldn't see this double dragon list anymore, and here it is. It's still very much
yeah, there's like an upwards and downwards thing. Like I feel like dragons again have become perhaps a little bit better because of the way that things have moved in general. So the world has kind of moved around dragons, which has made them better. But also, yeah, like you said, taking the Seed of Rebirth away is a bit of a hit to the reliability and kind of robustness. I find it interesting that these 2 lists have gone so cavalry heavy because, I mean, my opinion is still the cavalry is in quite a difficult spot in terms of if you want to be dealing a lot of damage. They're very exciting and very good units in general. I just think cavalry have that slight disadvantage at the moment, but they're going to be really exciting to see on the table. They're going to be quick and vicious games once the combat gets going, I think.
Very much so. Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see how these 2 lists perform. And let's see our third high elf list and see if it's any different. Adam Ramsey of Team Scotland as well, also taking high elves, also double dragon list. So all 3 lists, all double dragon lists. Double prince though, so he's gone with no magic, which is interesting. We have double star dragons. Yes, the first one's got armor of Calidor for the basically 3-up, 5-up, and the Seed of Rebirth for the regen and opal amulet anti-cannon tech. And the second one is armor of meteoric iron, which I've not seen on princes before. Ring of Fury for the additional damage, and talisman of protection for the ward save. Okay, so 2 fighty princes. Nice. His core is made up of 2 Illyrian Reaver units, 5-man units, just skirmishers, 11 elven archers, which are now slightly cheaper, 5 elven archers, 6 silver helms with a ring of fury, of course, 4 dragon princes, again making use of the slight FAQ change there, champion with a ring of fury, 10 sisters, sword of sorrow, which is an interesting item that you don't see very often, and 6 sisters with the ruby ring of ruin. Plenty of rings in this one. Again, 3 high elf lists, 3 double dragons, but 3 somewhat different lists. They're not like identical, I would say. I guess the first 2 are a little bit closer, but these guys, yeah, interesting to see that Adam's lent more into the sisters.
Yeah, it's more of a combined arms list, right? You have the kind of ranged output of the sisters and kind of some of their staying power in a way on the back of the boards, and then the cavalry, and then the elven archers are interesting. I don't know. Again, this is like another maybe alongside that unit of 6. They're very small units. They're not actually going to be able to capture things. But I think Adam. I would be surprised if he decided, instead of creating a unit of 16 elven archers, if he didn't have a reason for splitting those 5 out.
Well, I mean, it's a tech that we've not seen since basically the beginning of edition, but people used to enjoy these little archer darts where they deploy them 1 wide and 5 deep. And essentially, because of the way that the volley fire rule is worded, you can shoot all 5 of them if you don't move them, if they're all in range. So it's a nice way to sort of have shooting on a very narrow frontage. It's also, for high elves, 45 points is basically chaff. So it's a nice way to block a unit, or you can do some crazy Fabigo stuff. So I suspect it's a cheap drop. It's a bit of chaff. It's a tiny bit of damage if necessary, but just a cheap unit for high elves. The 11 elven archers, which is a wordy sense in itself, I guess that's more of your objective capturing one. You've got your silver helms and the 2 units of reavers. Yeah, I think I quite like seeing dragon princes. All 3 armies have got these dragon princes. Lots and lots of rings of fury. That seems to be the standout item left in the high elf book. And of course your star dragons, which are still very, very strong and very, very good. So yeah, no magic other than obviously your rings of fury and ruby ring, but still able to pack a punch, and it has to be respected. So yeah, it's interesting to see how they get on. Yeah, I wish them well. I really do, guys, honestly. I just hope I don't have to kill any of you. Let's have a look. So we're into the Kingdom of Britonnia now. So Josiah Narog is one of our locals. He's an American lad, but we've adopted him, so it's okay. He's allowed. So he has brought Lady Elise de Shard. He has a Baron with the Knight's Vow, Virtue of Knightly Temper, Barded Pegasus, and Ogre Blade. Nasty, very choppy. He's got a Duke with a Lance, a Shield, Virtue of Heroism. He's the General, Barded Pegasus, Gromwell's Great Helm, Paymaster's Coin, and Syrian's Locket. So yeah, a bit of anti-cannon protection there, and just a Monster Slayer. That'll be interesting. 25 men at arms, full command with a triptych, 5 mounted knights, full command, 5 mounted knights, full command, 2 units of 12 peasants, 2 units of 4 Pegasus knights with a champion, and a field trebuchet. So yeah, an interesting Bretonian list, I guess. Not hugely different to what we've seen sort of vanilla Bretonians before. Lady Elise still providing lots and lots of value there. Baron and the Duke are going to be quite nasty characters, both good at, killing multiple wound models and behemoths, which will be great.
I think what's telling here is the fact that it is very similar to a list that we would have seen maybe 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I think the fact that the Pegasus now have a facing is going to be very interesting.
That will be interesting to see.
Start playing around.
Yeah.
And it's the only Kingdom of Britonnia list, and that they are the second most popular faction after Warriors of Chaos in general in the UK in events. And I think it maybe is telling that Josiah's out here on a limb a little bit, seeing what he can do with the kind of previous meta list, and seeing where he can go from there maybe.
I think so. I mean, knowing Josiah, he's not played a huge amount of games recently, so I think this is his main army. And in fact, I actually have in the past borrowed this army, so that might have partially something to do with him not playing as many games because I borrowed it for such a long time. But yeah, I think he's...
How could you?
I know. That it's the one and only time I did it, honestly. I've never borrowed another army before. Or since. But yeah, I think Josiah's coming to it with a here's what I have, let's see what it does now type of approach. And I mean, it still all has a presence. Like it's got 5 scoring units there for those Pegasus Knights are still very, very mobile, and you have 2 characters that are able to come in and do the damage and some good anti-magic tech. So yeah, I think he's covered all the bases. It'll be interesting to see how he gets on with that. I think he'll do well. Right, let's have a look. So from one person who hasn't played in a while to another person who hasn't played in about 20 years, John Pugh, who is used to be of Team Scotland back in the Warhammer 8th edition days. He's took out his Ogre Kingdoms. So let's have a look and see what he's brought. He has got the Tyrant with great weapon, light armor, Stonehorn, a talisman of protection for the ward, meteoric iron, lovely, and Mountain Eater. Upgrade there as well. Slaughtermaster with level 3 Ruby Ring of Ruin, Grut Sickle, Elementalism, nice, and a Bruiser who is Armor of Silvered Steel and Beast Killer, nice. I wonder if that's meant to be a BSB, that one. I don't know the points for these guys, but hey ho, it is what it is. 6 Iron Guts, great weapons, heavy armor, Lookout Nobbler, nice, Standard Bearer, Gut Lord, Cannibal Totem, and a Musician, okay. 4 Ogre Bulls with Iron Fists and a Musician, 12 Nobblers, lovely, Throwing Weapons, lovely, 2 Saber Tusks, which are just great bit of chaff, Iron Blaster, nice, 2 Mournfang Cavalry, and another unit of 2 Mournfang Cavalry, and a Gorger with Distensible Jaw and Scouts. Okay, so
that's exciting.
I mean, this is lots and lots of cool stuff that I'll be honest, have not seen on the table. Now, I haven't played many of Ogres since basically the release of this game. I've played some. So I know what Mournfang and Iron Blasters do, but Gorger, I'm not sure. Nobblers just seem like a very good value. 2 points each, that's crazy good value. And you still got 2 very chunky blocks of Ogres on top of having this Tyrant running around in a Stonehorn, which is going to be very difficult to kill. So I think people thinking that Ogres are, no longer a strong army are going to get caught out by some of the punch that this army can take. So yeah, it's going to be interesting, especially with the rerolls that it has, right? That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I think they get 3 rerolls because Ogres certainly have the potential to create quite a competitive list, especially in the hands of decent players. And it sounds like John definitely has the potential to be that. This strikes me as quite like a combined arms list. There's like a little bit of everything nearly. And I think that maybe if John is returning to the old world, which is fantastic, or returning to Warhammer Fantasy, I should say, which is a fantastic thing to see. Maybe this is going to be an exciting tournament for him, working out what units feel good, what units feel maybe not so good, and what he can kind of lean into in future.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of learning points. I mean, for anybody who's hasn't played a tournament in many years or ever, the first one you go to, there's lots and lots of learning. It's a bit of a steep climb, but to be honest, you walk away having learned lots and being excited about building lists and building armies for future events. So I hope John gets that from this event. I'm looking forward to seeing how he gets on. This looks like a very fun list to play for both him and the opponent. So yeah, I wish him the best of luck. We'll have a look and see how he does at the end. Oh, interesting. So this is a lot of very small text.
Sorry.
So we've gone into the Orcs and Goblins fielded by yourself, Richard. So let's have a look and see. You have got Knight Goblin Odd Knob, level 4 Sword of Sorrow. Interesting. The Thinking Orcs at Wild Magic Knight Goblin Odd Knob, level 3 on foot. He's the general. Ruby Ring of Ruin, Wild Magic as well. Goblin War Boss. This one has great weapon. Cave Squig, Trollhide Trousers. The only set of trousers you're allowed to have.
Yes, the only set now.
He's got a couple of Goblin Big Bosses just on foot with a Charm Shield, essentially just challenge bait. 3 of those, in fact. One of them, for some reason, could not afford light armor. Okay. I see. He's the
sacrifice
one.
Had to be made, yeah.
Fair. 10 Night Goblin Squig Herds with a couple of Squig Herders. You've got a 30-man Night Goblin Mob with Netters, which you don't see very often. Triple Fanatics. You've got another unit of those and another unit of those. So 3 units.
Not Night Goblins.
No, you're totally right. That is a Goblin Mob, which I don't think I've ever seen in Old World. and it has these nasty skulkers, 3 of them, which is quite cool, and also the spider banner. Does that give them poison?
It does, yeah.
It does. Okay, so what nasty skulkers? Talk to me about them.
So they are hidden models.
Okay.
So people know that they exist within the unit, unlike the assassins, which you can put in any unit from Skaven. But they know they exist. But essentially, when you end up in combat with them, then you can bring them out, put them immediately into the front rank, and they have strikes first.
Nice.
They're not amazingly hard hitting, but I think combined with the short bows, which should allow some stand and shoot potentially.
Course. Yeah.
And then the nasty skulkers, there's the potential to get a decent amount of combat res in from that.
Nice. That's kind of cool. Well, I mean, well done for taking something different. That's something that I've not seen before, so it's quite cool. The rest of your list, you have 5 Night Goblin Squig Hoppers, another unit of 5 Goblin Squig Hoppers, 2 Snotling Pump Wagons. Nice. Is that a unit of 2? Is that how
a unit
how it
of
works?
2 throwing their pots and pans? Yes, that's right.
Got you. Nice. A Goblin Bolt Thrower and another Goblin Bolt Thrower, and then 2 Mangler Squigs and 2 Doom Divers at the very bottom, just in case you missed it. Almost, just in case you thought this was a nice soft list. No, there's the Doom Divers that are customary there. So, I mean, in terms of, old meta lists, you have the Doom Divers. Manglers, yeah, probably 2 is 1 more than we usually see. Goblin Bolt Throwers we barely saw ever at all. I don't think I've ever seen a Snotling Pump Wagon. The Night Goblins are standard, but again, you've reined yourself in a little bit there. You only took 2, even though you could have taken a third one. So yeah, you can see you've taken some concessions in this one, which is very kind of you.
Well, I don't think it's ever, with us being a spare player, I don't think it's ever good if a tournament organizer aims to win their own event. Not that I ever would, actually, but I think an exciting thing that I can do if I end up being someone's opponent is give them a fair fight, so there's some juice in there, but also maybe bring some stuff to the table they don't always see. And I love making jokes about my snotlings when they're throwing their pots and pans at a dragon, and maybe they get a wound off or something. So yeah, well, I'm excited to get them out. I don't always get the opportunity.
Well, I mean, I guess we'll see. At the moment, it's a case of if somebody doesn't make it to the table, that you'll get to play these guys. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see them if they do make it to the table. So yeah, very cool. Thank you very much for bringing it. We have another Orc and Goblin list here from Matthew Lang. He's another one of our adopted locals. He's an Aussie, although I think he's been in London for quite some time, until quite recently. So he's come up north, and he's brought his Orcs and Goblins with him. What's he got with him? He's got Ogdruz, which I struggle to pronounce, Ogdruz Swamp Digger with a lore familiar. Yeah, Wizard level 3 Elementalism, Troll Magic, a Black Orc War Boss with a Wyvern, bigger, choppier axe, and Talisman of Protection. No Troll Hide on that one. Interesting. Orc Big Boss, Heavy Armor, BSB, Banner of Butchery, War Boar, Choppiest Chopper, and Charmed Shield. Still no trousers. Interesting. He's got 23 Black Orc mobs, stubborn. They have all sorts of weapons, great weapons, full command. Oh, they've all got great weapons. Okay, that's quite cool. 2 units of 7 Goblin Wolf Riders with Champion Musician, 25 Orc mobs, extra hand weapon, Biggins, Boss, Standard Musician, yep. 11 Orc Boy mobs with Biggins, full command by the looks of it, and the big raggedy flag, Orc Boar Chariot, and another Orc Boar Chariot. One of them has Frenzy. Okay, interesting. Quite a fast list, right? That to me, I mean, okay, maybe is it a fast list? No, I guess it's not. Quite a fighty list, I should say. It's all stuff that engages. Like, in fact, it has any shooting. Is there any shooting in it? I can't see any.
I don't think so, no, because the Wolf Riders, you might think maybe take bows on, but actually, yeah, this strikes me as like a hammer and anvil type list. You put your 2 blocks of orcs, one of them's Biggins, one of them's Black Orcs, so they're going to take a bit of beating, and then maybe you do some fun stuff with the more maneuverable, faster things.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you've got a big unit of Orc Boar Boys with your BSB in there. You have your Flying Wyvern, and you have Ogdruz running around as well. So yeah, I mean, these are solid. This is an Orc list with a few Goblin add-ons, but this is a primarily Orc list, which is something that you don't really see very often. So I am looking forward to seeing how this gets on. This looks like a fun list to engage with.
Also, troll magic, interestingly, on
Yeah,
Orcs.
yeah,
I
it
don't
is
know. I don't
interesting.
really know what that does, other than good things for trolls, actually. So it would be cool to see what Matthew decides to do with it.
It would be good. It would be good. I wonder if I mean, Matthew's the type of guy who just love to just, he's not a stand back and shoot you with, doom divers type of guy. He's he's one to get engaged. So yeah, I think he's going to have lots of fun. And if I'm not wrong, this might be his first 2-day event, certainly for a while, if not in Old World. So yeah, good luck to Matthew. So it's definitely. And that's it. That's all for the Orcs and Goblins list. So we have 2, which is essentially your mostly Goblins list. In fact, almost entirely Goblins, right? Apart from the things that aren't.
Except for the squigs.
Squigs and Goblins. Yeah. And then we have a almost entirely Orc list with a tiny amount of Goblin Wolf Riders in there. So 2 different types. Very interesting. Very interesting. Just showing the range of the Orc and Goblin book. I mean, if anything, I think that's probably the book with the widest roster selection, right?
I agree.
So much you can do with the trolls, with the the wild ride. What's it called? The
nomadic war.
The nomadic war, exactly. Yeah, there's a lot you can do with them. So yeah, very, very cool. And let's move into the next one. We have Skaven. This is you don't often get to see Skaven lists, so this will be interesting. Julian Mays has brought Skaven. Again, Julian's another new player that I haven't met before. Maybe he's coming over from across the border, which would be nice. What has he brought? He's got a Grey Seer with level 4, Screaming Bell, extra Warpstone token by the looks of it, Elementalism, Plague Priest with a Plague Sensor, Plague Furnace, Warpstone Amulet. Okay, so 2 big solid units. Chariot units, Warlock Engineer, Storm Demon, okay. And then we have Skaven Chieftain with a Halberd, Heavy Armor, BSB, Banner of Vermilion Scurrying, which they gave to Cathay, very kind of them. I think if that's the right one. Charm Shield. And then we have 23 Storm Vermin with full command, Grand Banner of Superiority. That's the one that I thought. It's +2 combat res, I think. That they copy and pasted into Cathay and forgot to remove the reference to Grand Banner of Superiority. Whoops. 20 Clan Rats and 20 Clan Rats, both with full command, and one has a Rattling Gun and the other one has a Warp Grinder weapons team. Cool. 11 Giant Rats with a Packmaster, 6 Jezzails, 7 Gutter Runners, Ambushing and Poison, 24 Plague Monks at the very bottom with full command there as well. So essentially you've got, the Storm Vermin that probably has a bell in or around it, or maybe even the Clan Rats, and then the Plague Monks who have the Plague Priest. This, to me, is almost like an 8th edition Skaven list with, the big Screaming Bell type things and everything else. So I wonder if Julian's actually just bringing an older army out of retirement and back onto the table. Is Skaven the army with the most rerolls at this event, do you think?
Yes, it will be, because the only other one that gets 6 rerolls is Lizardmen, and we don't have any Lizardmen this time, unfortunately. But it's great to see Skaven. And if you're right in saying that this is someone bringing an old army maybe out of retirement, I think that's really, really exciting, and it's going to be very cool to see something like a Screaming Bell and a Plague Furnace on a table. Very imposing features. I'm excited to see what they can do, because I haven't seen too much of them. I've played plenty of Skaven lists. Most of them end up relying on giant rats or clan rats and things like that. So it'll be exciting to see those 2 big centerpieces.
Certainly. And surprisingly, no Abomination, no Warp Lightning Cannon, which we've sort of seen in the past. This is basically all infantry list. In fact, all infantry list. So, really interesting. It would be cool to see this go up against one of the other really fighty armies, like maybe Matt's Orc list, or maybe even that Empire list by Jack. That would be really interesting to see how that would perform. I'm looking forward to seeing the stories that come out of this army perform. So good luck to Julian. So good on him. Right, let's move into the realms of the dry undead. Starting with Adam Fitzpatrick, he has brought the Tomb Kings of Khemri. It's a royal host list We have Nikaf, which is one of our other 4 special characters. We got a Mortuary Priest level 1, Illusion Ruby Ring, another Mortuary Priest level 2 with Elementalism, and Kihil's Canopy, that's the Dispel, remains in play, I believe. Level 1 Elementalism, Mortuary Priest, a Royal Herald, BSB with a Monster Hunter's Tapestry, Great Weapon, Charm Shield, nice. A Tomb King, the Conqueror's Blade, nasty weapon, Talisman of Protection, a Tomb Prince as well with a Burning Blade and a Shield, customary Skeleton Chariot, Champion actually, 61 Skeleton Infantry. So this is where they break down. 51 of them are archers, 10 of them, or 8 of them. No, 10 of them must be the Royal Host. Sort of pokey spear dudes. Banner of the Desert Wind, which I think is a reserve move type item. But Amulet of the Serpent is the poison one, so that's quite nasty, nasty block. Another unit of 60 skeleton infantry, 10 of which are, again, the pokey spear dudes, and 50 of them are archers. Icon of the Sacred Eye, which I think might increase their ballistic skill. I'm getting a little bit rusty with these. 12 units of skirmishers, 12 units of skirmishers, skeletons, and 3 units of ambushing tomb scorpion. So pretty scary looking royal host list, would you not say?
I agree, yeah. Sacred Eye is the +1 weapon skill, so we're looking at the kind of meta list from a few weeks ago to see how it performs is the kind of double blob Tomb Kings, the double blob royal host with all the characters packed into the units and quite a lot of res opportunity. One thing to say is that, very interestingly, this is the only undead list at the event. There's no vampire counts and there's only 1 Tomb Kings. That probably has something to do with the fact that the event has the cap on the amount of successful reses that you can do on each individual unit.
Yeah, fair.
And it'll be interesting to see how this performs kind of in spite of that, because this is a meta list kind of everywhere else, I think, at the moment.
I think so. I mean, how does this differ from, the meta lists of Royal Host that we've seen before? I guess we haven't seen any of those guys that make everybody frenzied. What was that again? The Taskmasters, or...
Yes, yeah, the
those guys.
We don't usually see Nikaf either, I don't think.
No, I don't even know what Nikaf does, I'll be 100% honest. So, yeah, that'll be a nice surprise. But other than that, it seems like a really solid Tomb King list. And yeah, like you say, limited by the comp restrictions on raising. But I wonder if that's really going to affect this list too much. I mean, yes, you've got 2 big blobs, which you'd love to raise lots and lots of stuff out of. But outside of that, Tomb Scorpions, Skelly Skirmishers, all of those with 1 raise are basically back up to full strength. So, yeah, I think this is going to be another one to watch. But yeah, the only undead player at the event, he obviously didn't get the memo of bring soft lists that I did, obviously. All right, well, we'll see how Adam gets on. Okay, let's have a look. So now we're entering the Warriors of Chaos. So this is going to be a long section, I would imagine, because we have 8 of them to go through the most popular army. So yeah, I'm quite excited to see how these differ from each other. So let's crack on. We've got Nick Simpson brought his warriors. He has got the Chaos Lord with a flail, Zinch on a Chaos Dragon with a single favor. He's got an Exalted Champion, which has got the Zinch as well on a Chaos Dragon. The Crown of Everlasting Conquest, double favor, armor, meteoric iron. So far, fairly standard with these 2. 15 Chaos Warriors, undivided, brazen collar, full command, enhanced reflexes, which is interesting. You don't see that particularly often.
Yeah.
6 Chaos Knights with the undivided, brazen collar as well, icon of darkness, so really doesn't want to get shot up, and also enhanced reflexes. 12 Forsaken, which are always great. Forsaken by Zinch, which is MR3, I think, for them. If I'm not wrong, it's something crazy. Chaos Chariot with the Mark of Undivided, and Gigantic Spawn of Nurgle, which is fairly standard there as well. This is interesting. Double Dragon, Spawn, Chariot, and some core. That core, we don't usually see big units of Chaos Warriors there, so that's quite nice to see. That's something new. It'll be interesting to see how well they do. Everything has MR. So no, he doesn't have any magic casters, but everything has MR1 to MR possibly 3. That's going to be nasty. That's a lot of magical defense. So yeah, it's impressive. But so far, slightly different off meta, but not hugely so.
It gives me kind of a bit of flavour at the moment, similar to some of the high elf lists that we saw. You've got the two big dragons, those major damage dealers, the big scary things, and then a couple of other things around that: the chariot, the spawn, and in a way the knights and the forsaken that are going to be trying to move around, trying to get into decent positions. And I think those chaos warriors are going to be the kind of like anchor. They're going to take that point if you're playing strategic locations too, and they're going to sit on that for a while the rest of the army kind of moves around. But I think more robust than the high elves, certainly in terms of how they end up performing. And interesting to see the enhanced reflexes, which is the +2 to their initiative. So they might be able to hit first if they are charged by something like those silver helms.
It'll be interesting. Yeah, for sure. Very much another one of these combat lists. So not really any shooting at all, in fact, if you ignore the breath weapons, I guess. And
or
lots
magic.
of magical defense and lots of combat. So I think this is going to be a run at you type of warriors list. And it'll be interesting to see how it goes. Okay, let's see how it differs from our next contestant, and that is Joshua Lawson. He has got an exotic champion who is also the dragon, talisman of the carrion, crow for the regen, and poison, meteoric iron, favor of the gods. This one is Zinch, chaos lord, almost identical to the previous, in fact, identical to the previous loadout as well. 7 forsaken, also Zinch, 7 marauder horsemen, throwing axes, no chaos to cult, skirmishers, champion, unnatural fortitude, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
15 chaos warriors again, undivided, brazen collar, so exactly this, enhanced reflexes. So, okay, so this is the second unit that we've seen that's, in fact, is that identical? It is identical, 263 points exactly. So they may be onto something, these warrior players. That'll be interesting. 2 dragon ogres, which is now the minimum unit, with one of them being a Shartak, great weapons, and 2 chaos spawn of Nurgle. So this list is even more monsters. I can see where all the behemoths have been hiding. They've clearly been in the Warriors of Chaos camp.
Yes, 4 in this list alone, right?
Yeah, that's quite scary. I mean, you've got a big solid unit of Chaos Warriors, Marauders there to capture some points. Forsaken can't really be ignored, and then you have 4 monsters running at you, not to mention the Dragon Ogres will happily take a challenge for one of the Chaos Dragons. So, yeah, another no real amount of shooting, lots of magical defense, run at you type of Chaos lists. Yeah, interesting. Maybe we're starting to see a meta develop there. Or maybe this is very similar. The only difference here for the Chaos Lord is being he's Mark of Nurgle compared to Nick's Mark of Zinch. So not quite the MR defense there, but still, otherwise identical. Okay. Let's have a look. Graham Hart, another one of our locals. He has got, so this Chaos Lord is on a demonic mount, which is recently upgraded. Has the Cackling Blade, which is a cool item for a Chaos Lord. Double favor, Mark of Nurgle. Okay. Sorcerer Lord, also Mark of Nurgle. Demonic Mount, level 4 Demonology, Dagger of the Dark Pantheon. Nice. Spell Familiar for the extra spell, a favor, and Rod of the Damned. Wow, okay, so that's actually quite a lot of spells for one model, which is great. He has another Sorcerer Lord, Mark of Nurgle, Chaos Steed, level 3 Demonology, Sword of Might, Spell Familiar. He's got the Infernal Puppet and a favor as well. Okay, so the puppet seeing a comeback, which is quite cool.
Yeah.
8 Chaos Knights, Nurgle, Brazen Will, Champion, Icon of Darkness. Yep, so don't want to get shot. You've got 5 Chaos Warhounds with a cheeky little Vanguard bonus. 5 Marauders with flails and axes. Undivided Ambushing Skirmishers with the Unnatural Fortitude for the toughness. 6 Marauder Horses with the same, Unnatural Fortitude, toughness, skirmishing. 6 Chosen Chaos Knights, which is interesting. Drilled, Mark of Nurgle, Champion, Standard, Totem of Wrath. Oof, that's going to hurt.
Yeah.
And a gigantic spawn. So this is more of a bus list.
Yes,
that we've seen in the past. So another flavor of chaos. That's quite cool, right? What excites you most about this list?
It is. I think it's the idea, in a way that, maybe pre-FAQ Pegasus bus Britonians played. You shove your characters into that chosen Chaos Knight bus with the Totem of Wrath, and then with those sorcerers on demonology. Perhaps you don't put the one that's on Chaos Deed in, but certainly the demonic mount characters, you try and get in there. And the demonology level 4 with that Dagger of the Dark Pantheon. I was just reading what it is because I've not seen that in use before, and it's the +1 modifier to the next casting or dispel roll if an enemy unit loses a wound as a result of the attack. So you're throwing that unit into something, you're doing wounds with it. Your demonology wizard is getting potentially buffed by the attacks they're doing, and then able therefore to cast their demonology assailments better as a result. So I think there's some combination stacking there, and again a very melee heavy list.
Very much so. Let me just double check. Rod of the Damned, is that you know more spells or something? Bearer of the Rod of the Damned can cost the summoning as a bound power level 2. Yes. Okay. So
interesting.
Interesting thing, because he's Mark of Nurgle, he can also take the default chaos spell of toughness, the fleshy abundance. So that is a sorcerer lord that's going to live inside one of those Chaos Knight or the chosen Chaos Knight bunkers. Essentially sit there, make them nice high toughness. Maybe you'll throw, if you get the demonic vigor or demonic vessel spells, which are fantastic in demonology, throw them on and suddenly they're hitting like an absolute freight train.
Yeah.
And I think the Chaos Knights with their 6-up ward now, they can maybe, they're a little bit more survivable than they used to be. I think I think this is quite exciting. The Cackling Blade Chaos Lord is secret tech there because if you chuck him into, I guess, the Totem of Wrath unit, suddenly, he can have, up to 11 attacks? 12 if he rolls enough with a favor. So
yeah, with the additional AP as well, so you can really get through some
AP,
stuff. Yeah.
That's Strength 6, AP 2 with some Armor Bane. That's not nothing.
No, it's not. No. It's exactly what the Bretonian lords used to do, right? You'd put a Cackling Blade on a Duke or a Baron, and then you wouldn't put a wizard with them, but that's because wizards can't wear armor in Britonnia necessarily. But you'd put another Baron with them to get a similar sort of effect of just you're really trying to run and smash through whatever's in front of you to get to the objective or to clear up your opponent's arm.
I mean, it has a little bit of zap, I guess, but it's overall a combat chaos list, which is fantastic. Really good fun for you to play with and your opponent to play against. So I'm starting to see a theme in these warriors. I wonder if we're going to see anything different. Let's have a little look. Greg Summers, excellent. Greg is brought Wolves of the Sea, and a slightly different flavor here. But is it going to be much different? Chaos Lord, it looks to be, is he a dragon? No, a Manticore.
Yeah.
Interesting. Mark of Nurgle, Manticore, Brazen Collar, the regen item, and triple favor. So he's really going for those extra rolls there. He has an exotic champion. This one is on a Chaos Dragon with the poison regen, double favor, meteoric iron, fairly standard. Mark of Nurgle, though, rather than the MR one. 10 Marauder Tribe Berserkers, Flails, Ambushing, Champion Toughness, 7 Marauder Horsemen, Skirmishers Toughness, 6 Marauder Horsemen are the same, 6 Marauder Horsemen are the same, 10 Marauder Tribe Berserkers with, again, the Toughness and Ambushing. Everything here is Ambushing. Is that right?
A lot of it is.
A lot of it is. Certainly the 2 Berserkers are, which is quite nasty. And then he's got double Chaos Spawn with the Mark of Nurgle and a Chaos Giant, which is something we have not seen for a long time. Now, remind me again, is Chaos Giant Toughness 7 in this? Did he have the buff?
Yeah, I think Giants were buffed in general, right? Let me just check because we've just had that update, haven't we?
Let's have a little look. Is it Toughness 7? It says Toughness 7. Yes.
Excellent. Yeah,
wonderful. Yeah. So that is cool. I mean, again, this is 5 behemoths in one army.
Yeah.
So quite an impressive amount. And again, lots of stuff that runs at you. Not subtle. Maybe not the most clever, but certainly exciting.
It is.
The Manticore is an exciting choice. That's going to be interesting. I'll be honest, I've been tempted by the Manticore. It has been quite an interesting choice. It has been buffed a little bit, so it is given an extra wound. So that makes that Chaos Lord now 9 wounds, I guess.
Yeah. I think almost. Go on.
I mean, he's tough. He's got lots of favors. He's hard hitting, hard to kill. MR. hard to wound in combat. It's as good as a dragon.
Yeah. It's the monster mash plus ambush. But I think what this list of all the ones that we've seen so far seems to be the ones where, well, Greg is kind of going out on a limb and going, right, okay, the FAQ has given me some new tools. Let's see how that operates. You know, taking a manticore on probably your most important character, or maybe second most important after the Chaos Dragon, and then taking a Chaos Giant instead of something else. You know, well, who else has taken a Chaos Giant in the last year? Unless
I don't think I've seen one.
doing it for flavor wins, or because you don't have enough models to pick something other. But it's going to be really exciting to see that back on the table.
Yeah.
And with that extra toughness, it is going to be a bit more robust. You know, maybe it will survive to the end of the game. Usually giants do get picked off by something, don't they? But
they do.
We'll see.
They do. Yeah, no, for sure. I think that's definitely an exciting prospect. I think I'm really liking the look of these warriors lists so far. I mean, every single one of them is, has some elements that are, almost figured out, like this exotic champion type of build. But it still has a lot of unique stuff in each list, which I quite like. And yeah, it just shows you that there's a bit more room, I think, post FAQ in the Warriors roster than there was previously. So
we're halfway through them, Pash. So we'll see what the other half. Yeah, literally. Okay, I mean, there's 8 Warriors of Chaos lists. We've got some massive chaos worshipping fans in the player base this coming weekend.
Yeah, I'll it's the frozen north as. Beyond the wall, we worship nothing but chaos. So I guess maybe that's something to do with it. Let's have a look and see who's next. After that, we have Sam Wood, also with Wolves of the Sea, a Demon Prince, the first one that we've seen. New Demon Prince. With Fly, Mark of Zinch. He's a level 3, armor, silvered steel. Nice, solid choice. Biting Blade, also good. Extra spell, double favor, extra arm for the extra attack. Demonology, great pick. Exotic Champion, and this is the Chaos Dragon version now. It's slightly cheaper, so I wonder where he's cheapened out. He doesn't have a mark on the Mark of Undivided, but still Meteoric Iron, double favor, and a flail. So fairly standard Dragon Champion after that. He's got 2 units of 10 Marauder Tribe Berserkers. These have the toughness buff and full command, fine. And then we have a unit of 20 Marauders, great weapons, toughness, full command, 5 Marauder Horsemen, flails, ambushing, toughness again as well. 3 skin wolves in 1 unit, and a giant spawn, and 3 units of dragon ogres with no champion, just great weapons and heavy armor. Okay, again another fighty list, but this time with a Demon Prince at the helm. That's cool. That's exciting. I'm liking that. I wonder. Oh well, I guess if he's put the armor of Meteoric Iron on the champion, he'd have to go for something else on the Demon Prince. So Silvered Steel makes sense because it gives him a really good armor save. He's got a ward save. He's got a regen save. He's got 4 spells on Zinch, and has an extra attack. Biting Blade is not the most exciting weapon to go on there, but he's still strength 6 or something base, which is quite nice. It's a nice, easy way to get a decent weapon on them. Yeah, this is cool. This is an exciting list, I think. I don't think there's anything boring about it.
That Demon Prince, I think, might be just flying around trying to get a flank attack on something, or to take out some troubling war machines or something like that. It's not necessarily got that massive amount of power to take on a Lord, another Chaos Dragon, or another Demon Prince necessarily, if it were to come across something like that. But maybe that's what the Chaos Dragon is for. Maybe that's what the kind of combo is within that character slot.
Possibly. I have heard people being quite sad about the Demon Prince because he's lost his 360 line of sight. But I think the added resilience is actually quite good. He can hold his own more so than he could before against anything maybe smaller than a dragon, and then anything that is a dragon you just chuck the Exalted Champion into and watch them be tied up for the rest of the game. So I think a solid RAR Warriors list again,
very attacking, but a different flavor of attacking to some degree.
Yeah, for sure. And then we have Matt Wood. I wonder if Sam and Matt are brothers. Complete speculation. I don't know, but they both brought Warriors of the Sea, so I wonder if it's any change here. And actually, look at that. Is that another Demon Prince? And it's a named one.
Well, hey,
Wolfnar the Skald. He is Mark of Zinch flying, level 4 this time. Armor silver steel again, biting blade again, extra spell, double favor, extra arm demonology. Almost identical, other than just an extra spell on this one by the looks of it. And then we have Exalted Champion, Skiggy, Snackatung, which is, again, the same Chaos Dragon build with a double favor, Meteoric Iron, and Flail for this one. Mark of Nurgle as well. He did put a mark on him. In core, we have 2 12 Marauder Tribe Berserkers. One is the Scaling and the Hunder, which have Flails, Toughness, Champion Musician. 2 6s of Marauder Horses, the Arvaker and Alsivir, which have, again, Toughness and Champion Musician on these as well. One is Ambushing. And then we have 4 Skin Wolves. I can't even pronounce that. That is a complete Ulferhenar.
Ulferhenar.
Hetnar.
I think that's a thorn or a Viking or a Scandinavian version of a thorn, which is like a sound. I think I'm digging into my long lost degree here, but certainly a fan of Scandinavian mythology.
Very much
it
so.
Looks like, yeah.
I mean, double spawn to finish up with a Skål, which is the old traditional cheers, and Hattie. So yes, somebody is either very has some maybe background in Scandinavian naming, or has very much leaned heavily into that theme. But again, another Wolves of the Sea list, still somewhat different to Sam's list here. Not hugely different, just more of one, less of another.
Tweaks, right?
Tweaks, right? So I wonder if this is this maybe a Demon Prince type build for Wolves that we're starting to see emerge. That would be interesting. It's interesting to see that almost every list has this Exalted Champion on the dragon. That seems to be almost a staple in every list. And the spawn, of course, 1 or 2 at least. No giant in this one, so no bonus points for you, but I like it, Matt. I like it. Let's have a look who we have in the rear. We've got Kieran Smith, also with Wolves of the Sea, lots and lots of wolves. We have that Exalted Champion on the Chaos Dragon, as we've seen, with Brazen Collar, double favor, regen as well. Chaos Lord on a dragon, also undivided, double favor. We have 4 units of 6 Marauder Tribe Berserkers.
All with ambushes as
well. All with
ambushing.
All with Champion and Toughness. Nasty. 2 units of 8 Marauder Horses with Toughness, Champion, Ambushing as well. Wow, that's everything. The whole core is ambushing. 3 units of 3 Skin Wolves with a Champion. They don't ambush, right?
No, they don't. But I think this is kind of going back to, we saw a Warriors of Chaos Wolves of the Sea build like a couple of metas ago, when you could stack your Skin Wolves and characters together.
That's right.
To get these crazy things. But this is a sort of a return to a similar feel of list with this. You've got a lot of ambushing berserkers, which can output a lot and cause some trouble, especially if you're playing War Machines or something along those lines. And then you've got some Skin Wolves, and then you've got 2 big characters. I think the Demon Prince is, and the other 2 were really exciting picks, but also being able to see these kind of 2 Chaos Dragons come back into play and kind of forcing your opponent to think about it. Something that strikes me is that I know that when we were playing at Warhammer World the other month, the GT was won by a Wolves of the Sea list.
Interesting.
And so I think perhaps people have seen that and think there's some juice here.
Some play there.
Beat Cathay, and then obviously with the bump to, I guess, in people's minds that Warriors of Chaos are going to have, because they're in that new starter box, they've got those new models. We're kind of seeing people thinking about, like, okay, cool, Wolves of the Sea has something. Yeah, exactly. It's quite exciting. I think there may be one more Pash after this.
I believe so, because there was one person that I haven't seen that I know is coming, and that is Mr. Chris Cousins, who also has Wolves of the Sea. So Wolves of the Sea are now the most popular faction at the event by on their own. Is that 5
Wolves
of the Sea?
5 Wolves of the Sea out of 8 Warriors of Chaos, which is
that's
really
impressive.
Interesting.
There's as many Wolves of the Sea as there are elves combined.
Yes,
which is interesting. Okay, fair enough. But what do we have here? We have a Sorcerer Lord, Mark of Zinch. He is a wizard on a Chaos Steed with a spell familiar, Ruby Ring, Puppet, in the Shadowlands lore, which is the new lore came from the Arcane Journal, which actually is fantastic. I had a look at that. Brilliant pick. I don't know why it's not used more. So Chris is onto something here. Exalted Sorcerer, Mark of Chaos Undivided, level 1 on a steed. Rod of the Damned that we saw earlier, a favor and demonology. Exalted Champion with demonic mount and a favor. 3 aspiring champions, all with lance, heavy armor, shield, undivided, demonic mount, favor of the gods. So clearly leaning heavily into this new demonic mount meta, and just lots and lots of cheap characters, which will still pack a punch. That's not nothing. They are, like sort of mini tanks, tricky to get rid of, and surprisingly punchy for their points. So yeah, value for points there. We have to couple with that 2 units of 9 Marauder Horsemen with the Cult of the Carrion Crow, Skirmishers, Champion, MR2, nice, and Toughness. 2 units of Tribe Berserkers, 1/6, 1/5, with Ambushing, Toughness, 1 with a Champion. Fine. 5 Chaos Warhounds, 5 Marauder Tribe Huskarls, which we've not seen in the other lists, with Drilled, Toughness, Chaos Undivided, and Toughness and Full Command. Longstriders as well, which is interesting, and double Nurgle. This to me almost looks like an MSU sort of warriors list, right? Because I mean, there's nothing here that is, other than your Sorcerer Lord, I guess, there's nothing here that's more than like 170 odd points, 176. Yeah, you could, Chris is an excellent player. He's a WTC player. He was, in fact, I believe, the highest scoring WTC player last year. So, he's got plenty of experience to go the distance with this list. I think this is going to be a headache for people.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I can see the aspiring champions playing a bit of a Glade Lord on Great Stag role that the Wood Elves have been utilizing. Don't get the +1 toughness from the stag, but you don't need it necessarily because you are toughness 4 instead of toughness 3. You've got a lance. You've got potentially, because you've got so many opportunities to roll on Gaze of the Gods, extra strength, extra attack, and so on and so forth. So it'll be potential for each of those to pack a little bit of a punch, and then if you combine them all together, then they are going to be quite difficult to deal with.
Very much so. And 360 line of sight, counter charge, decent armor. I hope he's got plenty of tokens to, remind him what all of these Eye of the Gods have got, because he's got 6 characters that have got it. And he's got favors on all of them. So almost all of them. So yeah, I think a really interesting list to watch. I'm interested. I think so far, I mean, that's the last Warriors list, I believe, if I'm not wrong. Yes. Last Warriors list. And I think overall, Warriors seem to have quite a breadth of different type of lists. We see Monster Mash, we see MSU. Most of them don't really have any magical heavy, other than Graham. He did take that list that has 2 level wizard lords, but leaning heavily into the sort of monsters, value units such as Gigantic Spawn, lots of ambushing units. So yeah, you're going to have to watch yourself with these sort of lists, because they'll if they catch you, it's going to be painful. It's going to be very, very, very painful.
Definitely. There is definite juice here that's going to be interesting to see. I can't, I can't be clairvoyant and exactly see how this one is going to work on the table 100%. But maybe that gives it some sort of advantage, because people aren't going to be thinking, okay, I've got 2 Chaos Dragons to deal with. I've been here before. But it is interesting to see that a lot of these lists are skewing towards those big gigantic spawns in the rare slot, some heavy melee output characters in the character slot, maybe on dragons, maybe not on dragons, manticore, demonic mounts, and then core units, which I feel like has probably been where we've seen a lot of differences, and maybe there's a lot of tweaking and optimizing that people can do here if they feel like there is juice.
Yeah,
and then they have a good tournament.
For sure. And I mean, wide variety of things: Chaos Dragons, Manticores, Spawn. You've got your giants. You've got Demon Princes. You've got all sorts. I mean, it's such a really good range of units. I think it's going to be really exciting. There might be quite a few mirror matches, I think, with them being, almost a third of the field. But still, I think it's really interesting. It'll be cool to see how they get on. So good luck to our warriors. I think that brings us to our very final set of lists, and that is the Wood Elf realms. So let's have a little look and see. Now, first thing I see is Orion's on there. So obviously your count was maybe off on the special characters.
It was. I will fix that.
But that's fine, because I'm glad he brought it. James Gilray with his Wood Elves, he did say he was going to bring Orion. He put that in the Team Scotland chat, and we voted for Orion before the FAQ, before he got good. Now it feels like we've picked a good one for him. So he's got Orion there. He's got a Spell Weaver who's a level 3 on a steed with Oaken Stave on Battle Magic. A Glade Lord as well, with a longbow as always. Great Stag, Dragon Slaying Sword, nice. Orion's Favor, Charm Shield, Annoyance of Lightlings, and Aspect of the Boar. That's a real tough character that's going to be there to hunt dragons, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. It's like, well, I was talking just a moment ago about those lords on Great Stags, but this one's like the extra version,
Yeah.
Pump a load of stuff into one rather than have a couple of different types of Glade Lords on mounts like that.
That's a very exciting set of characters, I think. Very, very cool. Orion for theme, but he's still actually, he's a much better character now. The one character / unit that's got the largest points reduction in the whole FAQ. I think he came down by about 40 or 50 points. It was phenomenal. So yeah, pretty solid so far. Let's have a look what else he's got. In his core, we've got 5 Glade Guard, which are pretty much mandatory, I believe. 11 Deepwood Scouts with True Flight Arrows and a Musician. Same again. A unit of 8 Glade Riders with the Arcane Bodkins and a Standard Bearer, Banner of the Spring Tide, which I'm not actually sure what that does, and a Musician. 6 Glade Riders with just Arcane Bodkins as they are. 5 WarDancers. I'm glad we see WarDancers back on the menu. They are exciting.
+1 strength, +1 attack. There is something there, surely, right?
At 91 points with a champion, I think there's definitely value in there. Definitely value. But on top of that, he also has Wild Riders. 2 units of 5, which have got a champion basically in them, which I think are just a lot of very hard-hitting units there. And last but not least, he's got 2 cheeky little Wood Elf Beast packs at 19 points each. Just the doggos, the Deepwood Hounds, which is fantastic. That's an exceptionally cheap drop. I don't know if you can really make it any cheaper than that. 19 points feels pretty good value, right? So what do we got overall here? We have a couple of cheat chaff units, a little bit of core that can contest objectives and do bits and ping off little wounds here and there. But on top of that, you've got War Dancers, great for protecting your backlines, maybe from all those ambushing units. Wild Riders, which really pack a punch. Glade Lord, which is hard to kill. Spellweaver for the magical defense. And Orion, who's, no slouch either. So overall, quite an exciting list, right? This, to me, feels like a cool, themed, fun list, but also not a slouch.
No, certainly not. Not particularly reliant on magic or arrows. Quite an aggressive list. Those War Dancers, Wild Riders, Orion, and the Glade Lord are really going to be where your damage output comes from. That Banner of Springtide is quick shot, so a bit of evasion. Kind of keep those Glade Riders safe, keep them in an important area. I think it's exciting, and I do think Wood Elves have been meaningfully improved by the changes that they received in the FAQ. Are they going to become world beaters? I'm not sure, but they have had enough to be able to make these sorts of lists interesting to build, interesting on the table, more than just if you love them, but also just it'd be great to see over the next few months how it develops.
I mean, for sure. I mean, before the FAQ, I did not see War Dancers. I've never seen a Beast pack. Orion I've heard of, but I've never actually seen him on the table. So there's lots of units here which are new post-meta, post-FAQ meta, I guess. Yeah, I think this is interesting. Now, James is possibly the one person you might not see on day 2. He does have priors of hitting it hard on the first night, so we might have to watch him when we all go out for dinner on Saturday night. So I'm just warning you now, that might be the game that you'll have to step in for on day 2, but we'll see.
I'll be sorry to let someone down if they could have played this Wood Elf list and then suddenly they've got 2 Doom Divers and some crazy goblins running at them. But
The alternative is you play his list if you want. This looks like a great list to play. I think you would both have great fun figuring out what it does. So hats off to him. I think we have another Wood Elf list, if I'm not wrong. Yes.
Last but not least.
All right. So the last list that we have here is from Aidan Higgins. It is another Wood Elf list. Slightly different to what we've seen James bring there. Let's have a look and see what he has. He has the Spellweaver, level 4 on a steed, lore familiar, Heartwood Pendant, Ruby Ring of Ruin, Lore of the Wilds, which is a new Wood Elf lore as well. Very interesting. Glade Lord, this one on a Forest Dragon, Meteoric Iron, 5 ward save, Annoyance of Letlings, Resplendent of Luminescence, and Aspect of the Cat. Very, very tough to kill in combat, that one. That's going to be a nasty little one. A Shadow Dancer, Spear of Loic, level 1 illusion. I have not seen a Shadow Dancer. This is a new model. For me, that's post FAQ. I wonder how that's affected. Okay, 10 Glade Guard with Truefly Arrows, 10 Deepwood Scouts with Truefly Arrows. We've got 6 Glade Riders with Truefly Arrows as well, and 10 Deepwood Scouts with Truefly Arrows. Truefly Arrows for everybody. You can have Truefly Arrows. You can have Truefly Arrows. Everybody's got Truefly Arrows. Now we see these new treekin.
Yeah.
3 with a champion. That is going to be super difficult to get rid of. And even a unit of 2 for 109 points is super good value. So these are 2 very, very difficult anvil units. 10 WarDancers, amazing. I love it. I'm loving these WarDancers. With a champion, they have a standard bear with a Monster Hunter's Tapestry. Oh, I guess if you're sending a dragon or a Chaos Spawn or something in there, it's going to struggle. Another unit of 5 WarDancers. This is unheard of. Oh my god.
It is. This is very different.
With a Blade Singer. And then that cheeky little beast, Wood Elf, beast pack, the Hound. Okay, so what do we see that's similar? I mean, the core, I guess, isn't too crazy between the 2 Wood Elf lists. Let's be honest, there's only so much you can really do with that. They're not identical, but they are, in sync with each other. The special units both have WarDancers. Aiden's gone all the way to having a unit of 10 WarDancers, which is, I think, is the first time in this whole entire edition that anyone in the world has fielded 10 WarDancers. Never mind another unit of 5 and the Shadow Dancer as well, which is fantastic. And then these cheeky little Deepwood Hounds as well. So, wow, interesting list. What do you think of this one?
I think it is exciting. I think that special category is really where we're seeing the big impact of some of the rule changes, not just point changes for Wood Elves. You know, treekin, toughness 6 now, that's a very meaningful improvement. Solid. That is going to be difficult for, 5 treekin across 269 points. That's going to be it's going to be quite difficult to shift them, and they're going to be able to move forwards and hit and pack a punch as well. And those 10 WarDancers, I wouldn't be surprised if the Shadow Dancer takes Glittering Robe on illusion and joins them, and Shadow Dancer with the Killing Blow, and then the extra output now from the WarDancers and with the Monster Hunter's Tapestry. Maybe the perfect counter to Chris Cousins' Aspiring Champions.
Maybe. I mean, if you think about it, he's got an awful lot of scouts. No, he doesn't. The Deepwood Scouts don't actually scout, do they? Wonder if they do. Maybe they do. No, I think they do scout.
I think they do, yeah.
Which means you can sort of block out entry points for ambushers. You've got those treekin, which, to be honest, I mean, what wants to go into a treekin? Even a Chaos Dragon is going to struggle to get through treekin anytime soon. And then you've got these WarDancers, which will happily chew up anything, really, that is, short of a monster itself.
Definitely.
This is a very interesting list. Very, very interesting list. And not to mention, you still got a dragon to avoid, which is, is able to hold things out. So, I think these Wood Elf lists are quite exciting, I would say. More exciting than a Wood Elf list that, I've not seen cool, exciting Wood Elf lists in a long time. And this is definitely up there.
Certainly. And I think the thing that really excites me looking at the overall event as a whole, now that we've gone through every kind of list, is that the amount that people have lent towards just out and out fighting. we don't have 5 Wild Herd lists. We don't have like 3 Empire Gunline lists. We only have 1 Expeditionary Force list. There's going to be a lot of battles across the weekend that are close combat being done by models that have benefited from the FAQ, either because they now have slightly better stats, because they're a bit cheaper. They've been incentivized in some way. And it's going to be really interesting to see what the outcome of those close combats end up being, whether or not it's those High Elf Silver Realms with the Rings of Fury coming in, or the Warriors of Chaos with their aspiring champions, or the Demon Princes, or the Dragons. And now the Wood Elves we see with the War Dancers or the Treekin. There's going to be a lot of melee output, a lot of melee combat going on.
For sure. I think overall it would be fair to say that I think with this being the first event post FAQ, and there's quite a number of new or returning players coming to this, everybody's come into it with an expectation just to have fun, not to take the most sort of competitive focused lists, apart from the 2 Cathay dickheads. Apart from that, I think everybody else has gone into it with I'm going to take something that I think is fun, something that I think is engaging for me and my opponent. I'm just going to have 5 fantastic games of Warhammer. And I think that's a really, really good mentality to go into the event with. I think there's going to be, to be honest, that the most hotly contested prize might be the best sportsman. I think there's going to be plenty of people who will be, in contention there. So overall, really, really cool lists, really, really exciting. I'm keen to see how it works.
Definitely.
Any call out ones you think might do well or struggle in this list?
I'm excited by Aiden's list. I'm excited by Chris's list, although part of me does wonder whether or not those aspiring champions are going to be able to pack enough punch on their own, or even collectively as a group. I think they maybe could, but we'll see, because there's a lot of behemoths they seem to have to be able to get through or deal with in some way. I also think that the Expeditionary Force and the Britonnia lists and the Tomb Kings, the kind of like old meta versus the new meta, like what's going to prevail, how are those matchups going to work? And then obviously we've thrown in some really cool lists with the Ogre Kings and Ogre Kingdoms and the Skaven. So there's a lot to work out from this weekend, and a lot, like you said, a lot of variety, which is really exciting. And one thing as well I think is important, you were touching on it then about the attitude people go into tournaments with. Obviously on YouTube and in a lot of other places, the talk is always about the most meta lists, about what is best. But ultimately, I think the majority of all tournaments are made up by players who just want to go and like roll dice and have a good time. And the top players are some of the most amazing people that I've had the pleasure of meeting, like yourself, Pash, like some other amazing guys.
Checks in the mail. Thanks very much.
Yeah, checks in the mail. Yeah. But like the Team England guys, they're all amazing people to play against across the table. So I think people get an idea that competitive games, the tournament games is all about just winning. But my experience of the old world is absolutely not that, which is fantastic. And I think that we're really we're in for a treat, because we've got a variety of exciting, competitive, new, trying something new lists, as well as those types of players, the returning players, the experienced players. So we're going to have a very cool melting pot.
I think so. I think you're totally right. I think just to press on that point, that competitive wargaming isn't some sort of stressful, sweaty environment where just a bunch of people playing non-fun games. Very much the opposite. I don't think, I've played competitive wargaming for 15, 20 years. So I've played multiple different systems in the past, and I must admit that old world is definitely got the friendliest crowd that I have the best sort of mentality of knowing what a competitive game is all about. It's just about having fun with your friends, making new friends, sharing sort of, experiences and stories, and just letting the game play itself out. You don't get hung up about how rules interact. You don't get hung up about, arguments or anything like that. At the end of the day, most of the time, you're just there to have a laugh and, have a good time. And I think that's definitely shown by the type of list that people have brought to this event. And I think it's going to be nothing but fun.
One thing, Pash, you've teased me one thing. So everyone is ragging on the fact that the rule set sometimes is not the most clear. And you said people don't get hung up on the rules, and that is absolutely true. But I think one of the best experiences at a tournament is when you and your opponent figure out how to play the game together. Because the rules don't necessarily tell you. So you just have to go like, look, neither of us know. What do you want to do? And that is such an amazing moment to be a part of. And I think that is a really exciting thing alongside actually, meeting other people in general and doing everything. But yes, please, sorry.
For sure.
Yeah, you've got me on a topic I love very much.
Oh no, I'm with you there. I think people online get hung up about rules arguments when in reality it doesn't really matter. People figure out on the table, and the things that people talk about rarely come up. So yeah, 99.9% of the time, there's absolutely no issues with people discussing rules. So yeah, I don't think that'll be an issue. However, we have come to the end of the list review, but we still have not done the first round draw. Now, Rich, I believe you have something special lined up for us. Am I right?
Yes, we do. I do. We have the Wheels of Fortune.
Or misfortune, perhaps, for some.
Misfortune, yeah.
Let's have a little look and see what you've got for us. What we have here is we have got everybody in the event split across 2 spinny wheels. Okay, so what's the format there? How is this going to work?
So in theory, I will press Control and Enter or double click quickly to make both of these spin simultaneously. And then wherever that little arrow is on the right-hand side of each wheel ends up will be the 2 people.
All right. Exciting.
And I'm hoping that it will remove them afterwards. Otherwise, I may have to quickly go into the settings because we'll get duplicates. But we can always rerun this, can't we, Pash? Let's see how it goes.
Take one.
Take one.
Take one. Let's see if we can do it.
Spin all wheels. Let's see who the first matchup will be.
Let's do it. Oh, this is exciting.
Wait. Okay.
We have Brian Convery versus Greg Summers. So Brian, if I'm not wrong, is Greg is taking Brian is taking the High Elves, which is the double dragon list.
Yes.
All mounted list with a unit of 5 sisters at the bottom there. And
Greg was Warriors of Chaos, right?
Greg was Warriors of Chaos, but it's the one with the Chaos Dragon. The Chaos Dragon and Manticore list, I believe.
Hey, cool. Okay.
So, very exciting. Quite cool. Going to be interesting. Both combat lists running at each other. This could be quite close, but, I mean, Warriors Monster Mash versus High Elf Monster Mash. You got to give it to the Warriors, perhaps. Maybe no.
I think so. I think with the Manticore buff, you can maybe stand up against the onslaught of those dragons, and I think certainly the cavalry kind of around those dragons is maybe a bit of a weak point if the rest of the Warriors of Chaos army can get into them.
Those Rings of Fury are going to have to do a lot of heavy lifting in that list. So good luck to you both, gentlemen. Good luck.
Yeah, for sure. Yes, it did remove them. Excellent.
It did. Okay, so we're still on take one.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Okay, number 2, matchup and pairing 2. Let's see who we get.
This is a very exciting way to do the first round draw.
I'm glad you like it.
Jeremy Dicker, who has our Expeditionary Force list, against Matt Wood, which has the Wolves of the Sea list. So I believe Matt and Sam brought almost identical lists, but it is the Demon Prince Dragon. Lots and lots of ambushing stuff. Foreskin Wolves double spawn versus Jeremy's gyrocopters and triple cannon. So, that could be a big result either way, right? Because you would imagine the Warriors just run at the Dwarves and the Dwarves do their best to avoid death.
Definitely. Jeremy's definitely going to tell me that I've ruled cannons the wrong way after this matchup, irrespective of what happens, right?
Yeah, for sure. I think that's going to be a big result either way. It'll be interesting if Jeremy can pull this out of the bag. But if not, yeah, Monster Mash. Let's see if it runs over him. Good luck to them both.
Definitely.
All right.
Pairing number 3. Here we go.
Let's have a little look. Who do we have? We have Josiah playing Sam Wood.
There we go.
Excellent. So Josiah with those only Britonians that we've got, and Sam with, again, the Wolves of the Sea with a Demon Prince. So for Josiah's heroic Monster Slayer guy, he has a Demon Prince to kill, he has a Chaos Dragon to kill, he has a gigantic spawn, and if that wasn't enough, he's got plenty of Dragon Ogres and other bits and pieces to point his Ogre Blade guy at. So yeah, that's going to be another Clash of the Titans, I think. That's going to be interesting.
Definitely. Can Sam keep things out of the now much more confined vision arcs of the Pegasus bus. We'll see.
It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. Yeah. All right. Good luck, gents.
Matchup 4. Here we go.
Jake Shepherd, and Julianne. So Jake, now what? Jake took the. Let's have a quick look and see. Julianne has the Skaven list, so that's interesting. And Jake has the Empire of Man. So again, this is Johnny Franzia and Charles Le Boyle, as you remember.
Yes.
So the flying characters with a solid core of infantry, a couple of cannons, a steam tank, versus the double bell item type infantry Skaven list. I think this is going to be a really fun game to watch. Just the amount of clashing that's going to happen there. I mean, I actually have to give it to the Empire here. I mean, they have the shooting. They've probably no slouches in combat when it comes to Skaven. It's going to be interesting, but maybe the rerolls will make the difference. Maybe this will be the game that the rerolls will really do the heavy lifting. So, cool.
Yeah,
That's
maybe.
exciting.
Maybe.
Very exciting. I'm looking forward to hearing the story of Johnny Francia and his rat conquests.
Me too. Let's see who we get next.
Who do we have next? We have John Pugh with his Ogres versus Aidan, maybe?
Yeah,
Aidan with his Wood Elves. Ogres versus Wood Elves. Yeah, this is interesting. Now, I almost think this is two legends that may have played 20 years ago or so before. So This will be a good little reminisce for them. But Ogres versus Wood Elves, I mean, I don't know. That is tough, actually. I mean, I actually think Wood Elves are in a good spot.
Yeah, I think the Wood Elves are in a good spot. This is going to be a really interesting test for both of them. If John's returning and he's figuring out what's decent with Ogres, and if Aidan is bringing something maybe he doesn't always bring and he's making use of that FAQ change, it's definitely going to be a case of, okay, did that work? Yes or no? Okay, maybe it did, maybe it didn't. And I think that there's a lot to gain from that matchup. And yeah, great if it's a
fantastic game.
Rivalry of old coming back.
It will be. It'll be good to see how they get on. I think there's going to be a story made there. I'm looking forward to seeing how the WarDancers do there. That's going to be cool.
Definitely.
And the Stonehorn as well. God, so many cool creatures that you just haven't seen up until now. Callum with his Wild Herd versus Chris and his Warriors. Now, these boys, both of Team Scotland, have played before, I'm sure, but not perhaps in this sort of matchups. This is going to be a game of skill. Lots and lots of ambushing on both sides. Lots and lots of magic from Callum, and Chris just has that maneuverability. I think this is going to be one of these ones that goes down to the wire. I genuinely don't know which way it would go. It's very,
I think it's going to be difficult for Callum, actually. I think the Callum's list is still very good. I think there's a lot to come out of it. But I think the reliance on the one block and Chris having all of these different characters, it comes down to, can Chris or does Chris ever engage with that big block and just go after the rest of the Beastmen army? And can Callum, realistically, with a big block that may have all of its wizards in it, do enough? Because MSU, if you're only killing 100 points a turn with that big block, then it's not gaining its value back.
For sure. But then again, at least he has some range output. He can pick up those sort of, start to pick up those individual units.
Yeah.
Versus Chris, who has to commit and eventually chew on that big block or decide not to go for it and take a small loss perhaps, or a narrow draw. Very tactical game. Going to be interesting to see how that goes. Good luck to them.
Definitely. Getting into our kind of last 6, it looks like. So let's see.
Have a little look. So we have Chris Mills with his Cathay versus Nick Simpson. Now, Nick Simpson, I believe, is a Warriors player. Let me just...
Yes, I think so. There's a good chance he's a Warriors player, even
I know,
if you
right?
Don't know. Yeah.
Very good guess. Double Dragon, Chaos Warriors, Chaos Knights, Chaos Chariot, Gigantic Spawn versus Chris's fairly standard Cathay meta list, as it were. So, I mean, traditionally, I guess the Cathay, should win out, but there's not going to be an easy fight here because Double Dragon and a Giant Spawn running at you, it's going to give that Monkey Bonk guy plenty of things to do. It's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be, the Cathay game to lose, really. but
I
that
think it
doesn't mean
will.
the dice will go that way. It's still a dice game, right? There's
No,
still
it
an
doesn't.
element of luck.
And with the kind of renewed interest in Warriors of Chaos, it'll be interesting to see what they can do against that kind of list as well. If people are really thinking about, okay, are Warriors capable of dealing with Cathay in any way? Maybe this list is the answer. Maybe this list isn't the answer. Be excited to see.
Be interesting to see, for sure. All right, so coming down to the last 5 tables or so, who have we got? We have Mark Pete with his High Elves versus Graham Hart and his Warriors, Wolves of the Sea, I believe. Graham had, is that what he had? Graham took Warriors of the, so not Wolves, it is a Warriors list.
Just a Warriors list.
His Zappy Magic, 2 level 4, or 2 level 3 and 4, Chaos Lord, and then the Chaos bus lists as well. So more of a...
So it's the Demonic Steed list and the Chaos Mount list. Yeah, very interesting.
Which again is interesting because Mark's is a sort of, high elf, double dragon and cavalry build. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes. Can that Chaos Lord take on a Star Dragon? I don't know, but he's certainly got the magical damage to be able to start causing damage on those Silver Helms and the Dragon Princes. So it could go either way again.
Definitely. I feel like that's a good matchup for Mark Pete here. I think when you're thinking about lists that you want to come across as a double dragon cavalry list, you want to come across a cavalry list or a Pegasus bus or something along those lines. So, yeah, exciting.
Could be a win for the High Elves. We'll see how it goes. All right. Last few that we have. We have Matthew with his mostly Ogres list versus James and his Orion list. That's going to be interesting. So, sorry, Matthew with his Orcs. His heavy Orcs list versus James's Orion. Again, that's just going to be, I think, if they're not in combat by turn 2, something's gone absolutely wrong in this game. Maybe even turn 1, because this is just going to be, let's push everything at it and roll some dice. That's going to be a very fun game for both of them. Yeah, that's going to be very cool.
You're still in it, Pash. You haven't been drawn yet. You're like,
you're really making my heart palpitate here. God, you're going to give me the double blob list, aren't you? I know exactly how this is going to pan out. Aether versus Joshua.
There we go. Wow. Okay.
All right. So Aether has the. Let's just double check. I remember what that was.
That was dwarves. That was the very big,
very solid
blocks.
Dwarves. Yes. And Joshua's Warriors list, which is again double dragon, double spawn, and core. So yeah, this is interesting because it's going to be a case of immobile object gets hit by an unstoppable force.
Definitely.
Which one breaks first? That is going to be interesting. I'm keen to see whether they're going to go at it and let those blocks fight it out, or whether it's going to be an avoidance game and try and pick up points around the edges. So
if Josh is a tactician, perhaps he spends a lot of time trying to set up the perfect charge against one of those, his choice of block. So yeah, it'll be very interesting to see. Here we go.
Right.
Here we go. Are you going to get
am I going to be the
double
last
blob?
One?
Are you going to get the double blob?
Let's see.
So we've got High Elves, Cathay.
High Elves versus... I am getting the double blob. Damn
You're getting the double blob. There we go.
Well, Adam with his double star dragon High Elves versus Kieran's Wolves of the Sea. They're the ones with lots and lots of wolves, if you remember. The one with the, I think it was 9 skin wolves. That's right, 9 skin wolves. Everything else ambushing and double dragon. So again, a very fighty, 2 very fighty. Another High Elf versus Warriors list, but actually I think we might see the Warriors pull it out here because it's a dragon build, right?
Yeah. There's a dragon in it, and I think also Adam has taken some infantry picks that are probably decent at holding back lines and shooting through the front, towards the front, but maybe not so good at dealing with the things coming from behind them. But then, who knows? I can't remember the exact size of Kieran's ambushes, the units.
I mean, a unit of 6 berserkers, so not claiming objectives here. two units of 8 Marauder Horsemen. They are claiming objectives should they wish to.
Interesting.
So,
okay.
Yeah, you've got 4 units of disruptors, and then you've got 2 units of objective claimers.
Maybe
and you
the
still have
sisters,
skin wolves and dragons running at you.
Maybe the Sisters of Avalon will have a big role to play here in dealing with those ambushes.
Very
but
possible.
We'll see.
See how it goes. Good luck to them.
Oh, there you
I
go.
wonder who the last matchup is.
There you go. I'm going to spin it because I can, but there we go, Pash.
Very, very nice of you to keep my matchup till the very end and give me possibly the most difficult remaining matchup. So yeah, hey,
I wasn't even planned.
Surprise.
I love this. This is great. It knew exactly It's exactly what your viewers wanted to see, right?
Exactly. Keep the exciting one to last. So I guess it's myself and Adam. It's going to be interesting. I'll be honest. The double Blob Tomb King list is still very, 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 very solid. It's going to take some playing around. I'm hoping that the sort of changes to the Tomb Kings with regards to them not being able to pass on wounds to heralds in the challenges, with regards to the limit to raising, is going to maybe, hopefully, swing the odds in my favor if I throw enough shugs at it. But again, they're still Tomb Kings. There's still lots and lots of nasty magic items there. Still a very difficult matchup. It's going to be an interesting one. Adam and I have played in the past. I think we have played even in person in the past as well. So this is going to be a bit of a grudge match for us as well. So I'm looking forward to it. It's always a great game with Adam. So yeah, it's going to be a good one. It's going to be good.
Fantastic.
Excellent. So that's it. That brings us to a close. We have the lists, we have the draw, we have some predictions as to who we think might do well, people who, will be ones to watch, to some really exciting matchups there. I think this is going to be a very engaging and very social type event. We've got plans to go out for dinner. I'm looking forward to that. We've got, all these people in the same room. I think this is going to be the start of a very, very, very cool tradition here at Edinburgh GT. I'm personally just very much looking forward to it. So Rich, thank you very much for coming on and spending your time talking to us about all of this.
Very welcome.
Thank you very much for putting it on. I know you'll have still lots to do for the weekend, so give us a shout if you do need any help for that as well.
Thanks.
And if you need any hand holding as to which pub to go to or anything like that, more than happy to volunteer for that role. So definitely not. But let's give you the opportunity. Is there anything you want to give us a shout out to?
Well, I want to say thanks to you, Pash, for having me on. Thanks for supporting the event and sharing it around everyone in the area, because I know that you're a local, and I do hope very much that this becomes a tradition. I want to say thank you very much to my wife, Sophie, who I could not do all of these amazing events.
Patience of a saint.
Without. I'm very fortunate that she likes the old world, that she plays the old world, and I get the opportunity to go out and do all of this amazing stuff with her. She's coming up this weekend, but she's going to be enjoying the sights of Edinburgh, and that's something I would definitely recommend to any kind of potential tournament goers. If you find a lovely city that you can bring your family with you and let them have a great time while you're also having a great time, that's a brilliant way of being able to kind of be a win-win for everyone involved. And also thank you so much to Ancient Robot, Element Games, Dragon Cavern, UK Resin Print for sponsoring the events, for providing prizes. They're all kind of amazing parts of the community in their own way, providing the models that we need, providing prizes. We couldn't do this sort of thing without those supporters. And also, last but not least, thanks so much to UKTC for running the events all over the UK and finally coming to Scotland and setting up an event that hopefully will go on for years to come.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Definitely. Thank you very much for all the sponsors, local and national, that have sponsored this event. UKTC for making it happen. Rich for volunteering to run it for us. Very much appreciated. We'll have to give you the best hosted experience that we can to encourage you to come back again and host more and more events. And hopefully...
You don't need to. I love Edinburgh. I love the old world. Definitely. Yeah, exactly.
For sure. And everybody who's watching, thank you very much for staying with us for those long. Appreciate it's a bit of a long show, but we wanted to get it all done at once. So if you haven't already, please do the usual YouTube thing, smash that like button, hype it up, and give us a comment and see which lists you think are the most exciting of the event, any predictions that you want to make. And if you ever, have any questions, please pop them in. Myself and Richard will be on the comments responding to all of them. Very much appreciated. So Richard, thank you very much. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you on the next show. All the best. Bye-bye.